We're back with another Crossy Roads. So actually I had went and recorded up like several other games, and I just wasn't happy with any of them. Mainly just because they were awful. They were really awful games, and it's just not fun to play games that are really that bad and then just put them. I mean, especially like in the last video I made a joke that, mobile games just take any concept and just turn it into a game. And I said, making a sandwich, make it a mobile game. And guess what I found? I found a sandwich mobile game. And I played it, and, it's just as basic as you would assume. There's really no end game. It's just you put together a sandwich, and that's it. And I was like, okay, yeah, we'll make a video about that. That'll be funny. But it's actually not. It's actually quite depressing. So, if I decide to put it together, I'll you'll know. But right now I just couldn't bear to do it. And I tried doing other games too. I was like, all right, well, this might not be the one. So let's try Jeopardy. And all that game taught me is how stupid I am. I mean, I didn't even really have the patience to sit there and like try and answer the questions or anything like that. I was mainly just guessing. And, sometimes I got it right, sometimes I didn't. I have a brother who watches Jeopardy, and it's scary how good he is at it. It's like he is the next Kent Jennings if he really wanted to be. He makes it a hobby of his just to watch Jeopardy. And I mean, it's something to behold to watch this kid watch Jeopardy, because he, like 99% of the time, he's right. And we're always like, oh dude, you should go on Jeopardy, man. You'd kill it. You'd make tons of money. But he never really does. Well, of course he never has. But it's one of those things with life where it's just like, somebody that's like wickedly talented at something, and everybody tells them that they should go do that thing that they're really wickedly talented at, and they usually never do. And everybody's always just like, why wouldn't they do that thing? Like, take me for instance. I'm a video maker extraordinaire. I've been doing it for a long time now. Been making videos, and I took an acting class, and it just finished actually recently, like a couple months ago. But I remember one of my classmates was telling me, she was like, if I had your skills, I would be making all kinds of movies or something like that. I don't know. But it's different when you're actually the person who's burdened with those talents. It's not as easy as it looks. And so that's just something that I've been struggling with a lot. I've always wanted to make a movie. Like year after year, I always tell myself, all right, this is going to be the year that I do it. And I still, to this day, am saying that to myself. I'm like, okay, this is going to be the year that I make the movie. So I'm hoping 2021 is the year that I decide to finally get up and do something about it. But, there's a multitude of things that go into making something like that happen. And, the biggest one is money. And right now, it's just not there for me. But man, would I love to do it. But then that just makes me wonder, like, there have been movies that have been made with like no budget. So it's like, is it just on me? Am I like thinking too big? Like, should I just try to keep it as simple as I can or something like that? Don't know. I have a really wicked idea for a movie, and I actually dreamt about it recently, and it was pretty cool. I kind of don't want to blab it out here, just because, ideas are precious. Sometimes, I'll just meet somebody and I'll be talking about movies and stuff like that and tell them I have an idea, and they're like, oh, what's your idea? And then I don't tell them, and they get offended and something like that. Because, throughout life, you're going to meet a lot of people, a lot of characters that, you're pretty cool with for the most part. And then one day, all of a sudden, you're just not as cool anymore. And then then you never know. You never know if they take that idea and run with it. You know, I think ideas are the most valuable thing that anybody can have. Which is why, you know, you see these companies like Nike, Gucci, Lamborghini. You know, I'm just throwing names out there. You know, they have this image. They have this style about them. And, you know, it's all just an idea, right? It's all just a symbol. You can literally do that yourself if you wanted to. You could just take an idea, take a symbol, and just, like, say, this is valuable. And it will be. If you will it. You know. So I'm hoping that's something that I can do for myself one day. Whether, you know, that's making a movie, starting a studio of my own or something like that. You know, I don't really know what the future brings, but I'm hoping it's something nice. We're not going to watch any ads this time around. You know, I kind of did it as a gimmick for fun, but, you know, I said I would keep it real on this channel, and that's what I'm doing right now, because a lot of the other stuff that I was making today just didn't feel good. It didn't feel right. It didn't feel real. And when I made the Crossy Roads video, it actually felt good. It felt fine. It didn't feel forced. As a matter of fact, that video had no cuts. That was how good it was. It was just 12 straight minutes of just me talking. And I even told a funny story about me going to Chuck E. Cheese one day and all that great stuff. And I liked that. When I did the gas station one, you know, it was all right. It was pretty funny, but, you know, it didn't reach someplace deeper, which is what I like. And, you know, that's one thing about the acting class that I learned. I took this class at a school called John Ruskin, or John Ruskin. And when I first got into the class, I didn't really know what to expect. I kind of just was signing up in the hopes that I would meet some like-minded individuals, and I did. There were some that I met that, you know, I got along with, but I haven't really spoken to any of them since we graduated. You know, there's people that you meet in your life that you just you have this instantaneous connection sometimes. Like, I've met a few people like that in my life where it's just like you meet and it's just like, you know, you're going to be friends for a long time. It's just you vibe so well. And then there's other people that you meet and you talk to them and it's all right, you know. You don't feel the substance. It's just not there. And, you know, it was kind of like that for my class. I didn't really get that, you know, friends for a long time vibe from too many people in there. There was a couple people, but like I said, I haven't talked to any of them recently. I'm supposed to talk with one of them today. I'm supposed to meet up with one of them, so we'll see. We'll see how that goes. But anyways, the main point about this whole story is that when I first took the class, I thought it was just going to be, you know, we get pages from a scene or a script or a stage play or something like that, and then we just do it. They give us notes, and then, you know, we go about our merry way. But we learned something a lot more valuable. And it had to deal a lot with human connection and stuff like that. And granted, you know, I've been acting for a while, so when I took this class, I was kind of like, yeah, you know, I already know what I'm doing. But, you know, I learned so much from that class. I really, really did. And I don't just use it for acting. I apply it to a lot of things. A lot of things. Like this video, for instance. That's what I'm doing. Because when I first took the acting class, you know, things felt a little forced. Things didn't feel real. They didn't feel natural. And there was a lot of times in the class where people didn't, you know, they kind of put on a character, they put on an act and stuff like that. And that was one thing we always got called out on right away. They're like, you know, that's not you. This is just like an image you're portraying. Like, you know, when somebody receives a script for you know, a really intense scene or something like that, and they get this idea of how they're gonna say something. But that's just an idea. That's not actually how you would actually say. Like, you know, everything I'm saying right now is just, you know, straight from the heart. None of this is you know, forced. It's not, you know, it's not an idea. This is all just straight from the dome. And, you know, as I was taking the class, I wasn't really having too much fun with it at first because, you know, it was tough. It was a tough class to take because it was just, you know, they wanted you to be real to the core. As real as you could possibly be. And they would always point out examples of like terrible acting and like things that just like had no substance, or just, you know, my teacher, as he would say, it has a short shelf life. Things like, you know, The Big Bang Theory, or, you know, TV shows like that, where they're ideas. They're not real. In most cases, anyways. Now, that's not to say like the actors are shit or anything like that, but it's just, you know, it's not raw. I guess is what I'm trying to say. They don't really reach down to a, you know, a deeper level. And so, yeah, when I was making those videos today, it just felt very surfaced, and I didn't like it. And it, to be honest, was quite frankly very depressing. And to be quite honest, you know, I'm only, you know, why am I even making these videos? That's the question that I really ask myself. And I think I might have touched on it on the first video. I really don't know. Oh shit, that cop car was like super close. But, you know, I watched a video recently on a YouTube channel that I really like, called kurzgesagt or kurzgesagt or something like that. I'm not sure how you pronounce it. But they make fantastic videos that touch on all kinds of different subjects. Mostly science, like space and stuff like that. Shit. I didn't mean to jump like that. All right, we're going to go for a record on this one. I'm feeling a record. I could definitely beat 600. But in any case, kurzgesagt, they make really, really impressive videos. And I love their animations, and I always love their subjects, you know, black holes, the universe, all that great stuff. But one of them that they made recently actually was pretty depressing. And it just touched on, you know, our time here on Earth and what we're doing with our lives and stuff like that. And one of the things it explained was, you know, the amount of time that we spend with our parents. That, you know, by the time that we reach, I don't know, 25 or something like that, we've already spent 90% of the time that we're going to spend with our parents in our life. And, you know, it's a pretty terrifying thought sometimes, because ultimately, you know, got to come to terms with reality that, you know, we're not here forever. And so if you're going to do something, you know, you got to take a shot and do it. And I always keep saying to myself, you know, every year, like, all right, this year I'm gonna do things differently. Like in the beginning, like right after high school, even in high school, you know, I kept trying to make videos. And I was pretty inconsistent with it. I was pretty sporadic about it. You know, just when an idea struck, or whenever I can manage to get friends together, whenever I could complete a film. And I'll say though, one of the few times that I actually felt like, you know, we were consistently making videos is when I used to make them with my friends back when I lived in New York. We were trying to make a video at least every week. And that was a fun time. It really, really was. But I don't talk to those people anymore. You know, for one reason or another. And yeah, when I stopped making videos with them, I kind of really didn't have any desire to make... Well, I mean, you know... Not right away anyways. I just didn't want to make anything. And so I've just been making videos for my job. My job is always praising my work and always, you know. I mean, that's everywhere I go. I mean, I don't mean to brag, but I'm kind of a big deal. No, but seriously, that's everywhere I go. Everywhere I go, I always try to give it 100% in the videos that I do. And, I mean, it's not just with my videos, but it's with everything. I always try to be the best at everything. Oh, God, that was such a lousy hop. Why did I do that? But in any case, you know, my videos, you know, I'm trying to skip this ad, but there we go. I guess we can't skip it. You were off out there. I'm trying. Fuck you. I dig it. But yeah, man, I remember when I was working at Activision, one of my former bosses was talking to me. And he said, because I was on a hot streak, you know, like video after video that I made was just like awesome. Everybody fucking loved one, like every single video that I made. And I remember my boss came up to me. You know, I didn't report directly to him, but he was one of the people that helped hire me. His name is Mike. Not sure if I should disclose that, but you know, whatever, it doesn't really matter. Awesome guy. He used to play in a band. And it was like, it blew me away. Not just like, you know, an ordinary band or anything like that, but they were pretty good. And, you know, they actually had like a presence at one time. And what he said to me, you know, stuck out to me. And you know, it's not just him, but it's everybody in life that I've spoken to. They're always like, you know, telling me that I'm going to be the next greatest thing. And that's what he said to me. He said, it feels like you're the next big thing. You know, it's compliments like those that, you know, that they mean the world to me. They really do. Because I don't want to let those people down. I really do want to, you know, shoot as high as I can while I'm here. And to hear things like that, you know, helps motivate me. But then there's times like these where I'm making, you know, videos about mobile games that I hate. And I'm not talking about, like, the job. I'm talking about the videos that I'm literally making right now. Like, even this Crossy Roads one. Except I don't hate this one, because I actually enjoy Crossy Roads. And, when I'm talking like this, when I'm, you know, when I'm just keeping it real, it's cool. I enjoy it. When I first made my first Crossy Roads video, there was a lot of clicking noises in the background, and unfortunately there's not a lot I can do to help that. Because the mic is like right next to my computer, and unfortunately, you know, the keyboard is attached to the computer, so it's not a silent laptop. It's, you know, it's got those mechanical keyboards, so clickety clack. I hope you don't hear it too much. If you do, oh well, I'm sorry. There's only 2 subscribers out there anyways that actually watch this, and I'm not even sure they're watching it. It could just be like pity subscribes, you know? But you know what? It doesn't really matter. We're just gonna push along, keep our heads held high, and do whatever we gotta do. And who knows, you know, maybe somebody watches this one day and it actually, like, you know, resonates with them and actually does something for them. I mean, that's what I'm hoping this video does. I don't want to just make videos that like mean nothing. Oh my god, I was doing good that one too. We're going for 1,000. We're shooting for 1,000 before this video's over. And who knows, like, you know, if there's one thing I've learned over the past couple of years, it's like I don't really believe in coincidences, you know? I believe everything has a purpose. Everything has a reason for happening. Even if sometimes it just doesn't seem like there is a purpose or there is a reason. Or if sometimes maybe that reason or that purpose seems very sad. I always feel like there's a lesson somewhere in there to be learned. And so my thing with making this video is, even if nobody watches this, like, I mean, like, even if, you know, I don't have thousands of fans like supporting me that are like, oh my god, don't worry, Dan, I have your back, or something like that, you know, maybe in the future, you know, if I have my own kids or something like that, they're watching this video and maybe they're drawing something from it, something important. But I don't know that, you know. It's just, you know, it's funny how time works. Like when a movie borrows other ideas, like, I don't know, like for instance, Ready Player One is one that kind of stands out. You know, everybody was going wild, absolutely wild, when they saw that the Iron Giant was in that trailer and everything like that, and in the movie, and they were like, oh my god, Iron Giant is there. Now, obviously, you know, they pretty much put him in there for the sake of, you know, preying on people's nostalgia and all that great stuff. But it's just like, that idea, had it never come to life, you know, who knows what that idea would have been. So it's like, you know, that Iron Giant idea, it was a movie by itself at one point, right? And that movie, it on its own merits, you know, it has a message for people to deliver. And, you know, that's what I'm saying. Like, everything has a purpose. Everything has a reason for being. And, you know, it's a comforting thought because, you know, sometimes when life gets you down, or, you know, when it gets me down, and life can feel pretty pointless at times, I'm just like, why am I here? Why am I doing any of this? This is all so stupid. This is all so dumb. Like, what's the point? That's the point. It's just, you know, it's not about, you know, what you do for yourself. It's what you do for the benefit of others. And I feel like I get a better idea of that as, you know, as time goes on. Like, for instance, you know, this is gonna make me probably seem like an asshole, and, you know, not completely wrong, but, you know, that's just, it's a lesson that I have to learn. But in my acting class, we would get our scripts for scenes, right? And, you know, I treated it very seriously because that's something, you know, that I take seriously. Although, even though I haven't done anything with it lately, but memorizing lines and, you know, being prepared and all that great stuff, that meant a great deal to me. And I always tried to be the first one to have my lines memorized. And in one particular instance, I had a scene partner who just wasn't getting the lines down. And it was just, it got to me. Like, it really annoyed me very, very much because, you know, I was the first one to have him down. And then to see the rest of the class start, you know, start getting their lines down. And not only that, but, like, you know, once you and your scene partner had the lines down, you could start doing the scene. You could start rehearsing the scene, and that's what I wanted to do. But for whatever reason, my scene partner just wasn't getting the lines down. And, you know, that means I don't get to work. That means I don't get to do the scene or anything like that. And, you know, what? How did I not get the lily pad? Why? Stupid lily pad. So anyways, if you don't have your lines, if you didn't have your lines prepared, then you had to do an exercise with your scene partner, right? You couldn't just not do any work that day. So you had to do, you know, a scene or something like that. And it had to be, you know, it had to be real. It had to be based off your emotions. And my emotions? Pissed off because, you know, my scene partner didn't have her lines down. And so afterwards, once you do your scene and everything like that, the teacher would be like, okay, so what's going on? Like, you know, where's this coming from? Where are your emotions coming from? Or, you know, all that good stuff. And one thing we were taught in that class was, you know, just fuck it, you know, have the audacity, the balls to say and do the things that no one else would do. And very rarely did anybody ever really, because, you know, you don't want to be confrontational. Nobody wants to be thought of like being confrontational and stuff like that. And, you know, that's something that I struggled with a lot earlier on in my life. It's just like, you know, if there's something or somebody rubbing you the wrong way, sometimes you don't really speak up because you're too afraid of the consequences, or you're just afraid of being viewed upon in a negative light. Everybody has this, you know, this want, this desire to be liked. But in my particular case, I really don't care. You know, obviously, you know, I want to respect people and everything like that. But, you know, if you come across me the wrong way, then, you know, I have no problem, you know, explaining that to you. But in any case, I was so frustrated that she hadn't been getting her lines down that, you know, I addressed it to the entire class. Like, I literally called her out. And my teacher was like, yo, like, that's not cool. And I was like, what do you mean? Like, you told us to, like, you know, to be honest and, like, you know, speak what was on our hearts and on our minds and all that great stuff. And he was like, yeah, but, you know, she's your classmate. So, you know, there's an exception to the rule. And I cannot tell you, like, I could feel it. I didn't have to talk to anybody. I rarely ever did really talk to anybody. But, you know, I got the sense of it from everybody I worked with from that point on. That there was just this, like, yo, this dude is, like, you know, he's a little fucked up. And so, you know, I apologized to her and everything like that afterwards, you know. She even came up to me and she was like, you know, that wasn't cool. And I was like, you know, I'm sorry, I agree. You know, it wasn't cool to address it like that in front of the class. Like, I could have just spoken to you privately. But it's like that, you know? Those kind of interactions, that's the most important interactions you'll have with people. Like, that's what you leave people with, you know? Ultimately, at the end of the day, that's what we're here for, was, you know, it's what we bring to the table for other people. And in this particular case, I didn't, you know, bring anything good for that person. And that's something that she'll always remember. It's something that I'll, you know, always remember for as long as I do remember. And, you know, you have to ask yourself, is that something you want for your life? Do you want to be known as that guy who, you know, fucking sucked and made people feel like shit? You know, I don't want to be known as that guy. Unless that person makes me feel like shit, then I have no problem making that person feel like garbage. But, you know, that was just a point where I didn't exercise the best judgment. I should have just talked to her after the class, but, you know, nothing you can do about it now, so. And I'm trying to treat this video as if it's like one of Bob Ross's, like, painting classes. My dad really likes watching Bob Ross. I mean, he really likes it, really, really likes it. He just praises that dude's, you know, artistic talents and abilities and stuff like that. But I think it's, you know, it's more, there's more to Bob Ross than just, you know, his artistic talents. There's plenty of talented artists out there that, you know, that paint, draw, and all that great stuff. But I think it was, you know, the life lessons and, you know, the little windows and glimpses that we got into the man behind the easel, the one making the paintings, the character. Well, it wasn't a character, it was him. That's what people really enjoyed about it. And, you know, there's still people to this day that quote him, remark him. You know, this happy little tree, this little bush. You know, my other videos, I've always, you know, well, especially the ones that I was trying to make before, there was just an enormous focus on like, okay, we got to make sure this is funny. We got to make sure this is like, because otherwise if it's not funny, people aren't going to watch it. But you know what? If there's like no substance, nobody's going to watch it. And you know, I don't know. There's not really a large audience for mobile games anyways. So, and especially the games I was playing, oh my god. You know, sandwich making games and stuff like that. Who cares? I love the piano. You know, I just have like music playing in the background. I put this on before because this is gonna sound funny, but I was watching, or I was looking through John McAfee's Twitter. I don't know if any of you know who that is, if anybody's watching this, but that dude's he, you know, he's made out to be a very insane person, and you know, there is no doubt that that dude is a little, you know, off his rocker. But if you look at some of the stuff that he tweets, you know, they're very soulful. They really are. There's a lot of depth to what he writes and what he says. And he's in prison right now. But it's like one of the things that he said is, you know, it really allows you to reflect upon, we just beat our high score, look at that. It allows you to reflect upon, you know, the things that you take for granted and stuff like that. One of the things that he said was, you know, he's been in, you know, he had everything before he went to prison. Now he's been in prison for 7 months. There was no way I was getting out of that one. We were close though, only 300 away. And the thing that he said is that, you know, he had everything. And then, you know, obviously he went to jail and now he has nothing, but that he's never felt more free than he has in prison. Because those things that he thought he owned actually owned him. Right? Like that's a wild thought. Like take for instance, you know, I have 2 cars. Now that's not a fucking, that's no, you know, flex. That's not a humble brag or anything like that. Okay. Because, you know, when you have 2 cars, it's a lot of responsibility, you know. Every time that I have to go somewhere, especially when you live in some place like Los Angeles or anything like that, and you don't have your own driveway, if you don't have your own parking spots, it's a nightmare to, you know, to situate. Like if you're going to be gone for extended periods of time, like if you're only going to be gone for like, you know, less than a week, then it doesn't really matter. But, you know, you got to make sure your cars are parked on the right spots for street cleaning. They do that every, like, there's 2 days out of the week that they do street cleaning. And if your car's parked there, then they give you a ticket. So, you know, having 2 cars, you know, if I ever decide I need to leave somewhere, then I got to find some place to store one of the other cars. And, you know, I'm not made of money. Like, you know, I can't just like shell up a bunch of money just to keep one of them stored in a garage somewhere or something like that. So I have to keep finding people to like babysit my cars and stuff like that. And it's like, you know, where's the freedom in owning 2 cars? And then I guess people will be like, well, why don't you just get rid of one of them? And, you know, that's one of my faults. Because one of them has barely any miles on it. It's relatively new, 2013 model. And I love the car. It's a very good car. And it's great. It drives perfect. Like, the ride is superb. Such a comfortable ride. It's a pleasure to drive. I drove it across the country twice now. And it was an awesome drive. The other car, however, is what you would define as a bucket. It's got nearly 200,000 miles on it. It needs a slew of parts repaired and replaced. The brakes are screeching. They sound awful now. Transmission leaks. I'm sure there's a short somewhere in it because every time I go to start it, it seems like the energy's low. You know, it needs a lot of work. But I have a lot of history with that car. A lot of history. I lived out of it for practically like 5 months at one point in my life. And it was my very first car. And it taught me a lot of valuable lessons. Like, don't buy cars from people on Craigslist. Because as soon as I bought that car from somebody on Craigslist, it died literally like a week later. But in any case, you know, I didn't know a thing about cars before I bought that car. Like, I didn't know how to fix anything, you know. And even when I got that car afterwards, I was taking it to the mechanics all the time. It was costing me an arm and a leg. And not only that, but when you don't know much about your cars, you're at the mercy of, like, I hope I can trust this mechanic to, like, not try to sell me on something. And I hope, you know, he's not bullshitting me on something. And not only that, but, you know, when you don't have a lot of expertise or knowledge on how a car operates or anything like that, then they could sell you on, like, an air filter and make it sound like it needs to be changed or your car is going to die. All right? So, you know, when you have a little more knowledge on how to actually maintain a car and stuff like that, then, you know, it empowers you a lot more. And so that car helped me do that. I learned everything there was. Well, not everything, but, you know, a very large amount. I've done a lot of work on that car. And I've had it for 6 years now. And so, you know, kind of just hanging on to it. Just because it's my first car. God, man, I need to focus a little more on this. Well, that's not the real focus on this video. It's not like how well can Dan do in crossy roads. It's more just what's on Dan's mind. And you're learning right now firsthand what is on Dan's mind. So who knows? Maybe one day I gather up the courage to finally say goodbye to my car. I don't know when that time will be. Or maybe, who knows? Maybe I do get to keep the car for a very, very, very long time. That's what I hope to do. But, you know, back to my main point. John McAfee. Or McAfee. I'm not sure how you pronounce his last name. You know, when everything is stripped away, when all those things that you thought you needed are gone, you really find out who you are as a person. And so, you know, those things, those cars that sit outside right now, they, in a sense, own me. Especially the fact that I have 2 cars and I don't have anywhere to put them except on the streets. But yeah, man, John McAfee, like, one wild dude. If I were to ever make a movie based on someone's life, he's definitely somebody I would take a look into, because he's lived a wild, wild life. I mean, you know. There's one thing I hate about this world, is how the media portrays people sometimes. Everyone. Celebrities, you know, political figures, even social media in general. When people post things about themselves, you know, they have a picture that they tried to paint of who they think they are. But when you actually talk to somebody face to face, that's when you get to really know who they are as a person. You know, social media does nothing for any of that. It's only a glimpse. And in a lot of cases, it's not even real. Which is why I try to abstain from doing any social media. I don't have any Twitters. I don't have any Facebook. No TikTok. Nothing. Well, not entirely nothing. I have a Snapchat. And the reason why I choose Snapchat is because, you know, if I decide to post something, and in most cases, what I'm posting is just, you know, it's just a short video or a picture of, you know, something I see, something I do. It's more like a journal in a sense. Because, you know, I do want to remember these things as I get older. I like to look back on these things and reflect on them, but I don't need the whole world to see it. And they can see it. Like, I'm not saying that they can't. But the thing is that they just see it for that brief amount of time, and then that's it. And not only that, but it's like, you know, Facebook and everything like that, everybody, like, feels the need to, like, express themselves and shove an opinion down your throat or something like that. But, you know, with Snapchat, doesn't really seem like too many people care. You just see people viewed it, and then that's it. Like, they don't really... Sometimes they'll speak up and be like, wow, that's funny, or that's cool. But, you know, nothing's on a permanent record with Snapchat. That's just what I like about it. Like, you can get a reminder a couple years later and be like, hey, you did this thing. And it's up to you. Do you want to post it again? Let everybody know that you did this thing a couple years ago? Or do you just want to forget about it? That's what I like. That's what I enjoy. Because I've seen too many examples and in too many cases where it's like somebody did something that, who knows, it might have even been like acceptable at that period of time, but it's not acceptable now. And then all of a sudden people dig it up and they're like, what about this thing that you said like 10 years ago? And then, you know, you're losing your job, you know, you're getting canceled, all this other stuff. And it's just insane. It's insane what this world really has come to. I really do hope one day that social media is just a thing of the past. I hope people view them one day as like it's as bad as cigarettes. It really is. You know, when I first quit social media, because I used to have Facebook and I used to, you know, do all that obnoxious dumb shit. I used to friend people that, you know, I didn't really care for. I just wanted to, you know, I just wanted those numbers, baby. I needed that gratification. But, you know, as time went on, I started to get a lot of anxiety whenever I started posting anything. And so, you know, finally one day I just decided I had had enough. And I shut it all off. But, like, places like Facebook, they don't make it easy to do that. They try to, like, they try every which way to make you, like, think about your decision. Especially when you're deactivating your Facebook. It's like, are you sure? These people are gonna miss you. They'll really, really miss you. And it's like, no, they won't. Nobody cares whether you're on social media or not. You know who reached out when I canceled my social media, my Facebook? Nobody. Nobody reached out. It's not like, hey, Dan, what happened? Where you at? It's like, nobody cares. And I'll tell you, you know, I think that's people have been doing it for so long. It's just so routine. They've built up this routine of always, waking up, logging into Facebook, seeing, what's going on, what opinions people have, seeing if they've gotten any likes on their newest pictures or some shit like that. I don't know. And when I quit all that, it was pretty refreshing. It was at first there was like this thing like, okay, what website do I visit now? What's my main fix? I didn't really know. But over time you figure that stuff out. And I don't ever want to do social media again like that. And even some days, sometimes I think I don't really want to do Snapchat either, but I have to be in touch with my parents at least in some form or shape or way, or those close to me. I don't have like 1,000 followers on Snapchat or anything like that. I only have like a few friends. I like to keep my circle, small. It's like past 6 in the morning. I need to stop at some point. And this video is already almost an hour long. You know who also inspired me to start making these videos? Somebody in the sports landscape. Somebody named Kwame Brown. He started making videos lately. And there's nothing to it. He literally just takes a camera. He's not even like, there's no studio setup or nothing like that. He doesn't get anything. There's no scripts or nothing like that. He just wings it. He's just straight up talking. And it's all controversial because of everything that's happening with him. Because he's been ridiculed for the past 20 years for being a subpar player, and finally he's striking back with a vengeance. And he's been doing it almost every day. And I give props to people who put in the time, the work, the commitment to do something like that every day. And sometimes, the simplest ideas are the ones that work best. And so I'm hoping that videos like this, I can do them. They're not too bad. I mean, they're not too difficult to make. A lot of the videos I make, I always have to polish things and cut things out and all that great stuff, but it feels good to just speak my mind. Oof, okay, that was it's getting a little challenging to do this. Oh, just beat our high score. I told you we're going for 1,000. Maybe this will be the one. I spoke way too soon. Alright, I think I'm gonna call it there. That was pretty cool. So, anyways, I hope if anybody's watching this, or if anybody's made it this far, that you grabbed something from this, that this did something for you, and that you took something from it, and that you learned a thing or two. Maybe it's not entirely for you, it's also for me, because I kind of want to learn some things about myself, and sometimes the only way you can do that is by just talking, just by speaking what's on your mind. And I think this is a cool podcast, right? Most podcasts, you just hear it. It's something you just simply hear. But at least in this one, I got a chicken and I'm crossing the road. So anyways, that was my last one. Well, yeah. Or maybe this one's my last one. I don't know. I feel like I've already said everything that I kind of need to say. I've wrapped it up. Now I'm just kind of just droning on just for the sake of droning. But I do need to get some sleep. But before I go, maybe I'll leave you with a question. If anybody's watching this, that is. Do you ever feel like sometimes that what, you know, whether you believe in fate or destiny or something like that, do you ever feel like somebody's trying to tell you something? With the things that are happening around you. Like, I see so many signs. And I don't mean like literal like signs or anything like that. I just mean like signals. Signals about, you know, it could be anything. Like maybe there's someone that you've been meaning to reach out to. And, you know, the world or, you know, the universe is trying to tell you that maybe you should reach out to that person. Or maybe you should do that thing that you've been meaning to do. I see them all the time. And then at that point, you just have to ask yourself, you know, is it just coincidence? Well, like I said, I don't believe in coincidence. I believe that there's a reason for everything. So, just like there was a reason for me to make this video, even if it seems pointless now because, you know, there's only 2 subscribers, and who knows if anybody's actually watching this, but, you know, it wasn't just for them. We're actually getting pretty far on this one. We're almost halfway to our high score. All right, I'm gonna belt down. I'm gonna focus on this one. I'm gonna really try to make sure that we hit 1,000 because this is my last shot at doing it. So if I don't talk, forgive me because I'm just trying to make sure I get to 1,000. Oof. Man. Sometimes I don't even blink. Uh-oh. Alright, this is gonna be a tough one. Oh, nope, there we go. Okay, cool. Sometimes it's a real close call with these logs. Alright, here we go. Oh shit, okay. Oh shit, no. I've... There's just that one little opening, and, you know... Anyways, that's it, so... Peace out, everyone.